All right, so here we go. People making a top 10 college football, college football quarter entry 2026 season. Uh, this is the first list I found at Arch Manning. I think people are so. I don't think I know. People are scared to hop on Arch Manning because like people on social media are gonna say whatever. But I've never been scared. I said Arch Manning is the next Joe Burrow. To me he's a faster version of Joe Burrow. Um, and so that's kind of where I'm at with him. But yeah, he's the best quarterback since Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow's on his way to the Hall of Fame. One of the best quarterbacks in the game. One of the only quarterbacks to beat, maybe the only one to beat Mahomes in the playoffs in the AFC. Maybe him and Tom. I mean, like, it's a short list. I know that. So it's like Joe Burrow's. I mean, I don't have to keep going on. Everybody knows what Joe. He's elite. He's the truth. So there's not a better comparison you can give somebody than Joe. I mean, there really is not many better players. And so it's like, yeah, I think he's the next. I think he's a faster version of Joe Burrow. The dude runs 20 plus miles an hour. Had a slow start to the season, but and it really wasn't. It was like up and down. One game he played well, one game he played bad, and he finally put it all together. Started playing consistently, like the great ones do, and he looked like a number one overall pick. Like I, we're not gonna get because this isn't the Arch Manning preview a podcast or talk about Arch Manning, so I'm not gonna go too much into it. But you get it. Dante Moore, too, I don't agree. Dante Moore to me is not a good quarterback. I have a UDFA grade on him. Yes, I said it. Because I'm not scared of what people are going to say or like, oh, people, I don't give a damn. I'm not here to talk up teams because the media don't talk up teams. Dante Moore isn't a good quarterback. Um, I'm not a fan of his. I don't think he's any different than. I'm not gonna say he's any different, but he's probably a better player. But I mean that's maybe even a stretch. Like he just has better weapons around him. Uh, but he didn't never look impressive versus Indiana the first two times they played him. I think he missed two touchdowns. I know I watched the game back. Um, and versus Indiana, the first time versus Indiana, he even I mean I know they called one on the broadcast. He missed a touchdown. They called on broad. He missed it, and then he missed another one. I think they were in the red zone. Uh, and so it's just like when I see stuff like that, and then I see how he's played versus top competition. I mean, though they got whipped versus Indiana, and he just got dominant. I mean, he just never looked like he never looked like a dominant quarterback. Even going back to playing Texas Tech, and those dudes, he didn't look good in that game either. He missed Kenyon City twice in the Texas Tech game, and then he missed. I saw him miss two touchdowns versus Indiana the first time they played. Then he goes and plays Indiana, and he plays horrible. The only team he lit up in the playoffs was JMU. So it's like I don't see eliteness from you. I don't see second best quarterback in America. So Dante Moore to me, right now, I can say right now, if he's in my top 10, he's barely in it. I mean, like, and that's kind of where I'm at. Like I said, I have a UDFA grade on him. Uh, I wouldn't draft him in the NFL. He's not any good. He's not a big end quarterback. I don't see number two quarterback in America. This is wrong. Uh, and but keep letting Dan Lane fool y'all, cause see, y'all talk up Dan. See, and that's the thing is like that's what's crazy to me because and that's just frustrating me on stage right now. If Arch Manning would have done what Dante Moore did, y'all, and he was put number two on his list, if Arch Manning had done what Dante Moore did in the playoffs, and then somebody came out and put him number two on a college football quarterbacks entering 2026 season, y'all would be ripping that dude's behind so bad on social media it wouldn't even be funny. But y'all let anybody else get away with it because y'all got unfair. Y'all have stand Arch has to play at this level, but then let anybody else get destroyed and have horrible games on the biggest stage, and y'all just and that just was frustrates me because if it was Arch Manning, people would be this thing would be getting ripped apart, and so that just frustrates me. It's just like y'all let all these other quarterbacks do whatever they want. But when Arch Manning does something, it's like, oh, then you can't get blah, 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 and all this stuff. So it just frustrates me because it's like y'all aren't holding other quarterbacks to the same thing y'all hold Arch Manning to, and so that's what frustrates me because Arch Manning did what this dude did. Y'all be ripping him a new one. Sam Levitt, overrated. He's not that great of a quarterback. Wouldn't shock me if Arizona State honestly upgraded with Cutter Boyley. I've been a big fan of Cutter Boyley. I made a video on that a couple months ago, and uh, there's a reason. I mean, Kenny Gilliland is one of the best offensive minds in the sport, and he took Cutter Boyley from the portal out of all the quarterbacks that were available. They could have got that were quality options. He saw Boyley, as the one he wanted for a reason. So uh, I feel like I mean, if he wasn't Honestly, he sees something in Boyle. That's the same thing as I see something in Boyle too. And so I wouldn't shock me if he upgraded with Cutter Boyle. Levitt's overrated. He's not the third best quarterback in the country. Um, I've never like even the Texas game. Like he only thing that he impressed me when he played Texas was that he had great sack evasion because he should have been sacked 6, 7, 8 times. Texas was whipping Arizona State on the line of scrimmage, and they were getting after Levitt. But like as a passer, he didn't really impress me. Now he didn't have Jordan Tyson, but still, like it just didn't. He didn't impress me as a passer, and he never really has. Like he never really has. I never watched him like, wow, Sam Levitt's out here dicing people up like he's having a game of his life. Like I don't see dominant quarterback play. I see a guy that can run and scramble, but and that's impressive. But as a true drop back quarterback, I don't see it. Overrated. That on that one. Sayin, same thing, overrated. When I watch Sayin, I see a guy that struggled versus the Texas defense. I fired the defensive coordinator. Wasn't very good this year against the pass, and you had Carnell Tate and Jeremiah Smith, and you only scored 14 points at home. So and then you go and play. It was Indiana, so you scored 14 versus Texas. You scored it was 10 versus Indiana in the conference championship, and then you scored 17 or 14 versus Miami. So Texas defense was, like I said, fire defense corner for a reason. Struggled versus the pass all season until they finally put some younger guys out there at corner. Um, and somebody got benched. Gilbo got benched. But yeah, I mean, like I just didn't see it from saying like when you play top competition, how do you look? Right, that's what I'm looking for. And what I saw from saying was a guy who ran it up versus lower level competition. And when he played Indiana, it was 10 points. When he played Miami, I mean that dude looked like he looked like he didn't belong. I mean versus Miami, that was embarrassing. He played one good quarter. I mean, and that was the third quarter. And after that, he went right back to what he did in the first 2 quarters in the fourth quarter. He played a crap quarter. I mean, it wasn't good. I'm not high on Julian Sand. Very much overrated. But yeah, like I said, just a common denominator. Like you scored 10 versus Indiana, scored 14 versus Texas, scored 17 or 14 versus Miami. I mean, what are you doing against top? I mean, so what you did was you ran it up. What you're telling me is when I played ranked teams or top competition, I didn't play well. But when I played teams that weren't that were not top competition, I played very well. Or teams that could so it's just like that's where I like. I mean, and look, he had the highest and that's cool. But what was that completion percentage versus Texas, Indiana, and Miami? I didn't see it, and so I'm not a fan, and I think he's very much overrated. Ohio State fans, get at me. Don't give a damn. We're gonna whoop y'all next year. So I'm not really concerned. And like I said, I'm here to call it how it is. And when I see him play dominant games versus teams like those teams, I'll come out and say, man, Julian Sand played a hell of a game. He's an elite quarterback. But until then, I'm not there. Um, Josh Hoover, Indiana, this dude is overrated. I mean, I tell you right now, just because Indiana got Josh Hoover, I know for a fact Indiana will not be winning the national championship next year. I can guarantee for a fact because Indiana has Josh Hoover, they will not win a national championship. And so, I think Indiana fans get ready to see a regression at quarterback. This guy can turn the ball over, and he can collapse. I don't see him having the big game ability of a Mendoza. I don't see him showing up in big moments when you need him the most, which is what you have to win a championship at quarterback. And I see a guy who's turnover prone. Now he's a better runner, more athletic. He's smaller, quicker. Yeah, but as a thrower, he's not the level of thrower Mendoza was. He's not the guy that you're going to count on in big games to show up and make big plays in clutch situations. Um, and like I said, I watch him collapse for Arizona State on the road at TCU. So I'm not moved by this addition. And like I said, I can because they went and got Indiana because Indiana went and got Hoover. I can really guarantee they won't win a national championship. So I mean that's where I'm at with it. And I'll say this too. I really feel like if Indiana wanted to really like compete for a national championship, I mean they're going to compete, but like to actually win it, I feel like they needed to get Mr. Maker or Sorsby. I really don't understand what the thinking was there, and maybe I don't know what happened to Mr. Maker because I mean there wasn't much to talk about there. I know Sorsby was pricey, but I would have if I was them, I would have went after Mr. Maker and Sorsby. Like that's why I would have went after. If you wanted to really try to go, like if you wanted to have a not championship level quarterback, you needed to go after one of those two guys. It was Mester Maker or Sorsby for Indiana, and they didn't. And so once I found that out, you know, and they ended up with Hoover, I knew it was a mistake. Gunnar Stockton. I mean, look, he lit up Ole Miss and some other teams, but a lot of teams he lit up fired the defensive coordinators in the SEC, and then Ole Miss's defense stunk all year. So Pete Golding, I don't understand what Ole Miss's fans are excited for to watch their defense miss tackles and give up 30 points a game versus teams that have a pulse on offense. I don't know, but I guess so. Yeah, I'm not a fan of Gunnar Stockton. Like I said, the teams that he did light up, they fired defensive coordinators, and Ole Miss is the one team that actually hired defensive coordinator as a head coach, which is I don't know why you'd hire somebody who isn't elite at their job to be a head coach, but they did, and that was a mistake. And so yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. Stockton, not impressed, not moved. Um, Jaden Maviava, again, another one who never really impressed me. If I was USC, I would have portaled, or I would have went with Houston Longstreet or Jonas Williams. Um, when I watch him versus TCU, I just see too many. It's like too many times like he just like his brain just turns off and he makes too many mistakes. And I don't ever see like in a link with a link around the quarterback. I'm used to the Caleb Williams and Kyler Murray's and Baker Mayfields and that kind of stuff. And I just don't see like I don't and you know in I just don't see dominant quarterback play from him. I see too many critical mistakes. I see a quarterback that makes too many turnovers in critical moments, and I just never see dominant play from him. Like I don't see a first round pick. I don't see an elite quarterback. I haven't seen that when I watch. I don't see it when I watch him. And the stats can say otherwise, but I just don't see that when I watch him. I see him make dumb mistakes and turnovers, and I see a quarterback that's probably the worst quarterback I've seen since I started keeping up with Lincoln Riley and his offenses. I mean, it's probably he's more of the Spencer Rattler type for Lincoln Riley than he is a Caleb Williams or a Kyler Murray. So that's the best way I could put it. Mensa I like probably a top 10 quarterback for me. I think this guy's gonna keep Miami in national championship contention, and they could definitely win it with him. Sorsby I like at 9. He should be up in the top 5 range, top 6. Carr should be up in the top 5, top 6 range. But all the other quarterbacks on the list, Dante Moore, he's a maybe top 10 for me. Sam Levitt is a maybe top 10 for me. Julian Sayin is a maybe top 10. Josh Hoover's a maybe. Stockton's probably not. We'll see. Malviava's probably a not. Mensa's for sure. I think a top 10 for me. Sorsby and Carr. So like I think honestly the 4 guys like the most on this list are Mensa, Sorsby and Carr and Manning. The rest of these guys are all maybes for me. If not, they're not even gonna be on the list for top 10. And so it's like that's kind of where I'm at with it. This list isn't that great. It's a pretty bad list. Not a fan. I'm gonna be putting my list out. It's gonna be some good stuff, and I can't wait to revisit because the way people evaluate quarterbacks these days is pretty horrible, and I think this list kind of shows that. Uh, but yeah, like this is bad. But I mean, look, and like I said, it's just a lot of like logos and like you have a good regular season playing a bunch of nobodies, like some schools did in the Big Ten this year. People just give you praise, and so it is what it is. But I'm not a fan of this, and all these guys are overrated.